morning, you guys. Welcome back to another video. Happy Monday. If we have not met before, hi, I'm Hannah. Today's vlog is going to be productive. I am declaring that right now because we need to be. The saga of my deadline quickly approaching is continuing on. We're actually sitting at 50,215 words for the whole manuscript. We're clear over halfway. We're headed into the third phase of the romantic arc, and I'm feeling good. It's just a little overwhelming still. We're right now sitting at a 2,700 daily word count goal. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that could have happened, but we need to do something about it. So this week is going to be all about all of the different creative writing mantras that get you through a writing slump. We're pulling them all out today because I have a feeling we're gonna need it. So let's get into the week and see what dent we can put into this daily word count goal. Thankfully, I do have an outline for what I believe is the rest of the book, which is really helpful. It gives me somewhere to start. I think I don't necessarily love what I've got so far, so that's making it a little bit harder to want to work on. Just kind of writing through, getting to the parts that I'm genuinely excited about, when really you should be, excited about the whole story. I know that we're gonna get there though, and that's what I just keep telling myself. Something else that's really been helping me is giving myself mini goals. This daily word count is definitely overwhelming for me, so I break it down by about 500 words each. A little bit of a bonus, I always have this kind of back of mind goal to be beating my daily word count because it's getting so large. I think any way I can make up or catch up is really helpful. So although I am perfectly happy if we hit 2,700 words and we leave it at that, there's a little bit of a bonus goal to try to just get a little bit further every day. I am not completely lost, and I think that was the point of this clip, is that I'm not completely lost and I'm holding on to that. Also, I have a cold sore on my lip and it's bugging me like crazy.
Smiley faces in the vapor, counting corners till we get to any place but where I'm at. Every exit's getting louder. I'd assure you that it's nothing, but you never saw it coming, none of it. Then how could you now? A part of me wants you to see, a part of me hopes that you won't look in the mirror and find me window crying in the car home. I left you a tear on my cheek, but won't let it stay for too long. I don't wanna ruin the moment, so it's gone before you ever notice, gone before you ever know.
Hi guys, thought I would give a quick update. It's been actually a couple hours now almost, and it's been really productive. I was originally planning on starting my writing session with creating those mini goals, that little bit of tracker, basically a word count to-do list, but I had an idea for a scene in my head, and the more I worked on it, the longer it got, and I just kind of started following these ideas. So I basically kept going until I ran out of those ideas, and then, as you saw, paused and wrote the little goals, which worked out because I got to check off 2 immediately. Now I'm kind of at a pausing point, gonna take a little bit to outline. I'm actually at the midpoint, the false high, so I get to write this really sweet scene. Everything's going great, they're in bliss, and then it is just a very new feeling to realize, as the puppet master, if you will, all of this stuff that I'm waiting to just drop and waiting for the right moment, and then it's all going to kind of hit the fan after this false high. You saw that I kind of wrote a weirdly high goal for today, the bonus goal being about 4,000 words, but that's just kind of my estimation. If this scene that I wrote was about 1,200 words, what I already have for ideas in my head, there's a chance I'm going to get to that. But like I said at the beginning, my original goal is still 2,700 words. I will be perfectly happy with that, and maybe just save the material for the next time I write, kind of preserve that creative well, but we'll see what happens. We're gonna keep going. I don't think Patches wants me writing. looks like it's early morning, but it's actually Wednesday night at 9:50 p.m. So here's the deal. Yesterday I did not write because it was actually my husband and I's first wedding anniversary, so I happily took a break for that. Today ended up being a much busier day than I intended. That has resulted in, I made a little bit of progress earlier. I actually, funny enough, funny story really quick. I was sitting here at this desk trying to drink an energy drink, trying to get the motivation to write. While doing so, I was procrastinating by watching a YouTube video, don't even remember which one, when an alert, a notification on my phone goes off that Brielle Writes has started her live writing sprint. And I just had this moment of, okay, I hear you, God, okay. And I turned that video off. I brought it, because I was watching it on my phone, brought it up on my computer. First writing sprint I've ever participated in. It was so much fun. Did that. There were two 30-minute writing sprints, but I actually wasn't able to participate in both of them because I had to rush to get ready for something tonight. So I participated in the first one and then a little bit extra, I think. So anyways, altogether, it worked out to me writing, I'm sitting at 1,165 words, which is great, except my daily word count right now is 3,003 words. You guys, yeah. We're going to, get a little tired today, sacrifice a little more time, try to do, I think, at least one 30-minute sprint. I have a little timer here, and I'll just kind of set that and just time myself. My goal, I would be happy with getting 1,500 words. So worst case scenario, if I only get 400 words, that'll be fine. If I could get to 2,000, I'd feel much better. But yeah, I'm not going to count on getting to 3,000 today. I also need to rework a scene, so I'm going to have to delete words and I'm going to have to lose precious words from my 1,100. But we're not going to think about that. We're just going to focus on the next 30 minutes, just write a little bit before bed so I can finish the day just a little more productive.
Found myself in a cardboard box, feelings hidden deep down.
Yeah, so there wasn't a battery in that timer.
I can't escape. Oh, you're not one you get rid of. I linger.
Tonight is just turning into another word count goal because I forgot to set a different timer. Because I've been editing the scene, I'm trying to add stuff in before I finish it out. I'm still sitting at 1,200 words, kind of. So it's a little bit frustrating, but I might just keep going for a little bit. I don't know. This might turn into, I just write a little bit more, wait till the energy kind of leaves because it's quickly declining, and then make notes for the scene to come back to it tomorrow. But I know that the more work I leave for myself tomorrow, the worse I'm gonna be. I don't know, I'll figure it out.
Escape. Oh, you're not
That's good enough for tonight. Let's chat for a minute, shall we? Happy Friday. Writing the book is a struggle right now. I think I'm putting more energy into avoiding my manuscript than working on it and working through it. And I've been thinking a lot about this. Something about me is I really don't like when I can't figure something out, when I don't have an answer to something. I can't answer the question why, whether that's book stuff to my own emotions, etc. I don't do well with unanswered questions. So I was thinking through this one and trying to decipher whatever this mental block is. And one thing that I have come to the conclusion is that I think my perfectionism is coming out more than it usually does in this part of the drafting process. Usually I'm the kind of person that can write a really bad first draft. I preach this mindset because I practice it so much of just let it be bad. Get it on the paper, you can fix it later, you can't edit a blank page, etc., etc. Well, now that I'm into the editing phase, I think I'm putting a lot of subconscious pressure on myself to have it figured out, even though I think I've mentioned either earlier in this video or my last video that this is, I would call this a hybrid draft where it is technically editing, but I'm rewriting such a huge chunk of the book, it kind of feels like a new story. Because basically, I keep having this image in my head of laying out the entire story on my floor somewhere, chapter by chapter, getting to see basically a visual map on the floor. I think there's honestly a Pinterest photo I found that maybe I'll put it up if I can find it. But basically that image to me is representing when I'll be able to just like figure it all out, you know, put my hair up, get to work, get like studying my own story, if you will. So I'm really excited and eager and honestly desperate to get to that part, but I can't get to that part if I don't finish the story. I keep having to like pull myself back. I'm getting ahead of myself, just desperately wanting to be at that point, lay it all out, figure it out, look at it from like a bird's point of view, you know? But I can't do that yet because it's not going to be what I think it's going to be until I see the story to completion. So that's another thing is I was writing, I think in my journal yesterday, that I keep switching the terminology in my head of working on the book, working on the story. And to a lot of people, that might just be an interchangeable term. But to me, and maybe to other writers out there, that's a big difference. A book to me is a finished product. It has a cover, a synopsis, your little photo in the back. The story is what keeps us coming back to the desk, keeps us coming back to the page and wanting to figure it out. That's where the passion comes from, I think, is this story arc. And then why do you want to publish a book? Because you want to share the story with the world. So I'm trying really hard, like starting today, this is a very new thing, starting today to think about it. I'm working on this story. I want to figure out this story. All of the publishing stuff, all of the next steps, sharing with the world, that will come later, okay? You guys are getting to watch me develop this story. And I think that also lets off some pressure because, like I said in the first deadline diaries, this is a self-imposed deadline. There is no one other than like my friends and family checking in on me, keeping me accountable. There's no money in this. I'm focusing on the book and like, oh, putting pressure on myself to produce this book, but that's not the stage I'm at yet. The stage I'm still at is figuring out this story. And the story is why I love it so much and why I want to work on it so much. So I think switching that perspective, and I'm going to try really hard to kind of just change the terminology a little bit. If I can figure it out and get the story to the best it can be, then it will be a better book. But that's step one. And I keep thinking I'm in step two without ever have gone through step one. And so I feel super unprepared. And it's like, well, girl, you didn't do it the right way in a sense. You didn't do it the way that will best serve you. So yeah, all of that kind of like self-talk, self-motivation is because we have a lot of work to do. My daily word count has gotten up to 3,000 words. Oh, it's like kind of painful to say that. So today though, that means that the pressure is on to get to that word count. I'm going to better serve myself next week if I can do it today and just kind of like keep going and stuff. I wanted to sit down and chat with you for a little bit about that because this feels, I don't know if I should call this a breakthrough, but it feels like a step closer to like an excitement again about this story. Oh, see, I did it already. We're starting. I changed because we're going to the library. I realized I'll probably focus better there, so we're not gonna even try to pretend to write here. We're just gonna go get stuff done guys, back home. It's a couple hours later. I got back, ate lunch, kind of chilled for a little bit. It's actually about 4:15 now, I think, but we are not giving up on our word count yet. You saw in the clip that I got halfway, so we're gonna push through, do our best to write 1,500 more words and get to today's word count and finish the week off strong. Something I wanted to bring up that I just actually like placed, you can kind of see like I added brown note cards on the wall because I actually wrote down my word count checkpoints for each phase. So I realized that so far in this project, I have been focusing on the fact that it's going to be 80,000 words approximately, and that it has 4 phases, the story arc does. And I realized that I have not very well tracked each phases word count checkpoint. So that's just kind of like, it's a rough marker to just kind of make sure the story's developing. And so I've been focusing on that the midpoint so far is actually at like 45,000 words, not 40,000 words. And basically I'm starting to realize, is this book going to be longer than I thought it was going to be? Because based on an 80,000 word count, I basically am at, I think, 56,000. So I should, like, I'm here. And, 4,000 words ish to the end of the checkpoint, the end of phase 3, when in reality, I have this much left to go plot wise. Like, there's just a lot that needs to happen in here, a lot that I've been waiting for actually. So I'm like, I was kind of freaking out a little bit. Like, I'm supposed to fit this much content in 5,000 words. Then I set up my checkpoints. I have the little sticky notes now, and for a 90,000 word manuscript, this phase would end at 67,500 words. So that gives me about almost 10,000 more words. And that kind of better fits what's naturally happening. So maybe this clip is for nothing, and maybe it is going to end up 80,000. And my reality is I have issue with things that have been going on a little too long, and I'm going to have to cut. Oh, hi, Patch. And I'm going to have to cut stuff later, but I don't know. I feel like I wanted to make a note just in case like this book ends up being a lot longer than I thought. It's just kind of assuring too, like, oh, I've kind of got those. I thought she wanted to go, but I've got those writer instincts where I'm like, okay, the story's ready to progress, and this is ready, and this, and this. And it's following actually a track that is not completely far off from like normal, I guess, if you will. So anyways, that's the update from Patch and I. She started doing this where she's like resting her head.
Oh, bring me back to that day. I had all of this waiting ahead. It kills to be halfway alive since I had you, and one till I see you again. I don't mind.
We did it! Oh my goodness, we did it. We completed it. I got to 3,700 words today, when my goal was 3,500 words. So just a little bit over. And I don't hate what I wrote either, which is always a great feeling. Right at the very end, I got to a scene that I could actually borrow from a chapter from the original draft. So it gave me a little bit of a boost. Also gave me just a little bit more direction about where it's gonna go. Kind of not necessarily a filler scene, but just a calmer scene that gives you a little bit of break from the drama, but also not boring. So it's kind of one of those like reprieve scenes, if you will, as we're building up into the major crises. That was really great. But with that, I'm actually going to wrap up this video. I think this is a great place to end it on a lovely Friday evening, a very accomplished Friday evening. So thank you so much for spending this part of your day with me. It is seriously a joy to get to document this, the highs, the lows, everything in between. But I'm so grateful to you guys for coming along the journey that it's been so far. I cannot believe that in the next couple of videos, hopefully, I will be finishing another draft of this book and get one step closer to finishing the story. See, I used the word book then. We're gonna keep working on that. Story, not book. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you really liked it. Until the next video, go read, go write. You got this. Bye.